Hey, what's up guys? Today we are going to discuss a topic that is inheritance in classes in C++. So first of all, let me give you guys an example of real world of inheritance. So in real world there are parents and there are kids of those parents, and when they so in the kids, some of the properties in the real, some of the properties of parents inherit in their children as well, and the children also have some of their unique properties which were not inherited from their parents. So the same concept of inheritance can be applied right here. That is inheritance in terms of classes in C++. So what inheritance means here, that here I'm going to define two classes. One will be parent and one will be a child class, and all the properties and characteristics of the parent class will be inherited in the child class. So let's start off with creating a parent class. So here first let me just clear some space for my two classes. Excuse me. So I'm going to create a parent class, and inside the parent class I want so I'm going to declare a private data member that is going to be age right here. And then if I don't define a constructor for it, the compiler is going to do it for me, and it's going to initialize age to 0. So I'm just going to set age. So I'm just going to create a function that is going to be set age, so I can access this private data member outside the class, means inside the derived class. So public, and here I'm going to make a function of int set age. It doesn't have it's not going to have any parameter inside, and it's just going to return the age. And the reason I'm doing it is because inside the derived class, so private, so here I'm going to explain it in a bit. So here it's going to return my age, and the age is already initialized to 0 thanks to the compiler for initializing it to 0 through default constructor. Now this is my parent class, and now I want all of its properties to be transferred or to be inherited inside another class. So I'm going to declare another class, that is class child, and then the syntax for this class to copy all the properties of the parent class is you first write a colon, and then you write the reserved word public, and then you write the name of the class you want all the properties to get inherited from. So here, this is the syntax of how you relate two classes, of how you can inherit properties of a parent class, or you can also call this parent class a base class, and you can also call this child class the the derived class. So this is the syntax of how you can relate two classes with each other. So right here, now this child class already has all the properties of this parent class, except it does not have the private, it does not have the defined private member. So for example, here this age is a private member of parent class, so it didn't get passed inside the child class, except the age data member. All of the data members, in this case just this function that is int set age, is passed inside the is passed to the child class, or you can say is inherited to the child class. So here let me just if I do it int, if I do int, and or let me just create all of it public. for an example. So here this is going to be public. Here I'm going to declare a variable int roll number, and I'm going to so here this is it. So this is my variable inside child class, and age and this function are the members of the parent class. So right now, if inside the main function I create an object of my child class, so child c1, so c1 is an object of my child class, and here I didn't add any set of parentheses, so that means it's going to call the default constructor, and that default constructor is going to set each of the value, that is the roll number and the age, to 0, and I don't have to do anything for that, so the compiler is going to do it for me. So now I've created this object. Now what I want to do is I want to see out c1 dot. So here what I want to do right here is I want to display the value of age inside the parent class. So if you notice here, I've declared I've defined an object, I've declared an object of the child class, not the parent class, but I am able to access this set age function. I am able to access this set age function, but here, as you can see, I haven't defined any set age function inside this child class. So how is it working? The reason it's working is because, as I stated earlier, that all of the characteristics and properties, all of the public characteristics and properties of the parent class always inherit to the child class if you follow the proper syntax. So this function right here has been inherited inside the child class, so that is why I'm able to use it, and I'm using it to output the value of the age, because age is a private data member, and I can access this private data member through the public member function. So a member function inside a class can access both the public data members and the private data members inside a class. So here just like this, and then I'm going to see out c1 dot roll number, and both of them are initialized to 0. So if I save it and if I run program, as you can see, it's going to give it's giving me age that is equal to 0, and it's also giving me the roll number that is also equal to 0. So the main reason why we use inheritance, there are a lot of benefits. It's because we want to reuse the code, because all of the properties are now a part of this child class, and we can modify it and without disturbing the parent class. So we can reuse the code, and we don't have to copy everything. We just need to inherit the properties, inherit every public thing inside the parent class, and then we can just reuse the code. We don't have to write the code again, and that is how we save time, and also we can save time, money, everything, processing. It's because thanks to the inheritance in classes in C++. Alright guys, so I'll be making some new videos in relating to inheritance tomorrow and on this weekend as well, so stay tuned.